only had like 2 months to come up with a whole hour, which I've never tried doing before. But I watched that Beatles thing, the Beatles Get Back.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it?
No.
It's like 8 hours or something.
Yeah.
Who produced that?
It's on Apple TV. I don't know who. Oh, it's Peter Jackson, right?
Yeah, Peter Jackson.
Jackson. So he took all the raw footage from the Let It Be recordings, and they look like you're there. It's amazing. And he showed how they developed Let It Be. So you watch them arrive in this studio that didn't really work, and you watch them, and John's a little fucked up, and he's with Yoko, and they're not really getting along. But they keep sitting down, strapping on the guitars, and playing. And they have a few ideas for songs, and in like 2 weeks they're going to shoot Let It Be. And they just play, and then George quits, just leaves the Beatles, and so they play without him for a while, and then he comes back. But the thing is, they keep in the movie, they keep Xing out the days and just showing that they showed up for work every fucking day, took songs that were just ideas and turned them into some of the greatest fucking Beatles songs. Then they went on the roof and just played it, and it was fucking great. So that inspired me. I thought, if I approach it that way, like, I just must have an hour in 2 months, and I was going to the cellar every night, and I was working more on paper and more analyzing the sets and taking notes after a set, saying, here's what worked and I gave myself these disciplines. Like, once I had 20 really strong minutes, I said, you can't touch it now. You can't do that material anymore. Because you're just going to get stat. You're just going to want to kill and go home.
Right.
So I'd take bits that were dying or bits that I didn't want to do, and I'd say, that's tonight. You got bad bits and new ideas. It was horrible. And you go up to and you go, oh.
That's why you got to stay off Twitter.
That's
people
right.
that come to that show.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh. You have to be willing to bomb to really write.
Yeah.
And then those bits got stronger and stronger. That turned into a new 20 of all shit bits that turned into a strong 20. Put that aside. And then I had two 20s, and I kept doing that until I had a loose hour. And then, and then I went on tour all over Europe. And some of those crowds, there's a glass ceiling to how much you're going to kill because they don't all understand English.
Oh, wow.
But it makes you better. And then I go home, go back to the cellar, put the hour aside and work again, new material, and then keep adding it back in, and
And what's your writing process like?
I mean, that's it. I know when I have a thought. I know when I have a thought.
It's really funny.
I know when I have a thought that it's a bit.
Right.
I'm like, that's a bit.
Right.
But I don't write it. I don't think about it. I avoid thinking about it. I just write a keyword to remind me to talk about it. I need to do it in front of an audience so that because when they're there, I'm like, I really want them to, they're the goal.
Yeah.
So they help me also with their reaction. They help me figure out how to say it. Instead of imagining in my head, here's what I would say. It's like, they're right here. You got to tell them. So I try it in front of them and get some version. And sometimes if it gets silence, there's some silence that bits get, or groans or upset feelings, where I go, that's a great bit. I know it is. It's dying, but I'll do it night after night because I know somewhere in that bad era that I created, there's a great, all the bits I've done that are like great bits in my feeling started as they don't want to even hear this. They don't even want to hear it. They don't even want to hear the subject. They don't want to hear the joke. The joke dies the first time. And I'm like, that's going to be one of the great ones. The ones that get laughs right away, they're great. Thank you. But they don't develop as much. I don't work as hard on them. You just depend. They're like a fastball. Got it.
Well, you worked with Rock a lot, right? When he was doing that, where he would have comics come and give notes.
Yeah, I never did that with him. I worked on his show. I did sketches on his show, on the Chris Rock show.
Oh, so you never sat...
Never did the stand-up stuff.
Oh, I thought you did.
No. I mean, he's one of the greats. I always.
Oh, for sure.
We've talked about bits together.
But I always liked how he does that, and he gets shit for that. And I'm
for bringing comics in.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a great idea.
When I worked on his show, we did the monologue. So it was like that. So I got a sense of how he did that. And it wasn't us coming up with bits. It was him with guys in the room. And then it's a little bit of an audience, but guys he trusts. And he'd start talking, and we'd go, right. And we'd feed him little lines, but it's his bit.
Mm-hmm.
But he had other brains there to give him little tingles and little lines.
Yeah.
Give him another direction for it.
It's funny when guys want to dismiss guys that are really big that do something like that. They do that. They like, yeah, this guy's writing for him. And I'm like, what?
Whatever
are you,
the process is.
Yeah, like what are you saying? Like it's a genius idea to do it. Dude.
Yes.
To me, bouncing bit like we bounce me, Sam Morril, and Norman, we bounce bits all the time. But to me, it's like you're gonna bounce it off the audience. And
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, they have input. Why not get input from professional
Yes.
comedians?
Of course.
They're better at comedy than the audience is.
Yeah,
That's right.
Of course.
No, when I wrote my series Louis, which is on my website for $30.
LouisCK.com?
Yes, LouisCK.com.
That's where you buy
Yes.
the film,
That's
isn't
also
it?
where you can buy 4th of July, a film that
doesn't it
him
come
and I
with-
made.
Comes with some audio commentary and deleted scenes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
right.
a good deal.
$15, good deal. Well, when I was doing Louis, I wrote every episode of the series, but I had people, Vernon Chapman, Pamela Adlon, who I depended on, who would just like sit on the couch, be there while I'm writing, and I tell them the story, tell them stuff, and they'd help me in dialogue, help me get it to the right place, or tell me when it's like that's not interesting, or whatever. They help you edit a little bit, you know.
Don't you